Greetings, community, and welcome to NCBD Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for a new comic book day, 12/25, 2024. Here we are once again. Here we are once more, however, for the last time of the year. Now, I also just noticed that there's this major update on stuff. Forgive me, people, because I have no idea what's going on. Rename brand, delete. What is going on? Private chat, comments. There's stuff going on. I see it. That's wow. StreamYard just did an update. It's actually looking kind of cool. It might be something I might be able to navigate. We'll see in the future. Now, again, as I made mention, what I want to do first, as I normally do, I give a little introduction. I'm just saying, look, this is the show. Basically, what I do is I do a little preview, slight review of books that I love. Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow is just an acronym to pay homage to an old store in which that I truly used to love enjoying going to as a kid, K-M.A.R.T. Also, I do a blue light special, as you may guess, which is my most anticipated read of all the books that I will be talking about. And again, before I really get into this, one, I want to go ahead and just make mention of those of which have been supporting me from essentially day one when I've been doing the show and prior to that. Christina, I do greatly appreciate you, and Las Cruces. Both of you have been hanging out with me ever since I've been doing the show, ever since I almost started this channel. And I greatly appreciate you. I hope everything is going well with you and yours. A happy holidays, a Merry Christmas to all. And not quite to all good night. Now, here we starting off with Image talking about Geiger issue number 9. This has been the quintessential story from Ghost Machine, the one that actually started everything and started the ball rolling to the universe that we all enjoy today. Those of which have been actually reading this thing throughout the year and prior, when it really started in the beginning of the year and it was teased at the end of last year, know that this was something that has been in the works for quite some time. Jeff Johns and those of us that have been assisting him in the development of this universe have been doing not only a wonderful job throughout the year, but in my opinion, not just being able to maintain that momentum and the pristine storytelling in which that it started with has been able to be maintained, and thus that why I continue reading. And here we are, issue number 9 coming out, and it seems like the first 8 only still touched on this third volume that we're getting from this continuation of this awesome story. If it seems that I'm being somewhat vague, really there's so much there to talk about outside of just touching on a little bit. A man that was trying to do the right thing, like many, building a bomb shelter. Things went awry between his treatments and the fact that he couldn't save his family in the hopes and the way that he most anticipated. He now became a hero in a way that he not only anticipated, but the world probably have never seen before, and the likes of which reluctantly we'll probably never see again. So I guess Geiger is just one of those stories that we do get to enjoy certain books that come out by certain writers, and sometimes they peter out. Geiger has just been such an enjoyable story, and again, in its third volume, that I'm looking forward to 2025, continuing reading the story, as solid as it's been, and thus the universe that surrounds it. Moving out from Geiger issue number 9, coming out to you and me on well, we have to wait just a little bit because it's not coming out on the Tuesday or Wednesday. It will be coming out on Thursday for most of us on 12/26, 2024. We're going to talk about Redcoat, also part of this universe. Let's say roughly on the outshoot, but never directly in continuity to the Geiger universe. But it also does reside within the storytelling of Jeff Johns. Redcoat was one that I wasn't initially anticipating reading. It was, along with many, just one of those books that I was just trying to shed, and I really didn't want to entertain in the idea of reading initially. After getting just a slight taste of issue number 1, I couldn't put it down. It may not have ever been one of my blue light specials. However, it has been a very interesting, enlightening read at times, because it not only touches on aspects that theoretically could have happened and definitely fictitiously does in the book, but it also touches on aspects of introspection that seems to, at least for me, be somewhat enlightening. And in Japanese, it's called Satori. In that moment of Satori, it just seems interesting that sometimes certain books talk to you, and when they enlighten you in a way that it seems like the book is directly speaking to you, it thus becomes that much more enjoyable. And that's why Redcoat, is fucked up as that guy is, there's times that I definitely identify with him, and that's why I'm definitely here. We are talking about issue number 8 coming out to you and me, and I can't put it down. So that's why I really been enjoying it throughout the year, and I look forward to coming out to you and me on the 12/26, 2024. Talking about one last one coming out from Image Comics, and that would be Void Rivals. This started it all. Void Rivals is the one that gave us the introduction of the Autobots, the Decepticons, thus Transformers being tied into this universe that we end up dragging into the G.I. Joes because they were on Earth. And we have this storytelling that it now encapsulates all 3 stories directly, and we've been waiting for this to happen. There's been a lot of story building in this throughout the year, and it definitely pays off here towards the end and the beginning of the next year, 2025, because what we're getting is just these 3 main stories, just these 3 main titles, which is Void Rivals, G.I. Joe, and Transformers. Now that we're getting the core of the story and we're seeing how they all interweave and intersect, this is where all the stuff starts happening, and we're going to get, I think, and what most people were anticipating, the action that we're all been wanting on a more continuous level. I fucking can't wait. But Void Rivals has essentially been my favorite of all because it started it all. This was the core. And as a guy that enjoys core, I really enjoyed Void Rivals because of how loosely it was initially tying into the other 2 stories that most people were anticipating, but directly how it actually led into the stories that, again, we were all anticipating. So again, not only do I enjoy it for that very reason, but it has never lost steam, and it directly ties into the storyline and has a story all of its own. I really enjoy that, and I really been enjoying the story thus far. Moving out from Image Comics, let's talk over at the Dark Horse, because we're going to talk about Space Usagi White Star Rising issue number 3, which finishes out this mini. God, this has been awesome. And the fact that actually once we get done with this, 2025 starts out a whole new world building with Usagi and his counterpart going on their journeys. This is an interesting time and era for Stan Sakai, because he was expressing to me how much he's enjoying this whole new kind of like reboot of the character, essentially, with Dark Horse and everything else. These stories that we've been getting thus far, more than either just kind of augmented stories that we've gotten tastes of the past with the new character that we got now, Yukichi. But we're also getting new stories that are going to be coming out for 2025 that have never been told before, and it's all new stuff. So yeah, this wraps it up, and I'm looking forward to thus after. So that's why I've been looking forward not only to reading this to wrap up and tie everything that we've been getting thus far, but I know what it's bringing in the future. So that's why, for me, it's one of my most anticipated reads. Hey brother, how you doing? Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's move out from Dark Horse and cruise over to Boom Studios, and then give us Uncanny Valley issue number 7 of 10. Now, initially, when I was talking to Tony Fleeks about this book, I was asking him how long this story was supposed to be. I really initially anticipated to be somewhere between a 6 or 9 issue series. He told me on issue number 1 when it came out, and I was having him sign my book, that it was supposed to be a 12 issue series. After pitching the boom and getting the numbers, it was decided that, again, initially before the numbers were managed, meaning I'm just given a number, they needed X, and let's say X was met. Well, once X was met, after issue number 1 had came out, they reneged on their deal. They stated, how about 9 issues? So a new negotiation had to be made, and thus what we're getting now is a 10-issue series. After, again, speaking to Tony, after I think it was issue number 3 or 4 that came out, I asked how was this going to be, being able to be worked into the series. He not only was busy with Tone Rodriguez on a 5-week journey across the nation to sign a bunch of books and promote a bunch of wares, but he was also really, I think, trying to better connect with some of the stories that was upcoming for 2025, and also with some of the people that he's been talking to just on the phone or the internet, and he wants to see directly. So it becomes difficult when you end up doing these cons and not to be able to be seen directly with some of the stores that sell your wares. So he wanted to go out there, and in that talks, I know I'm kind of moving around. He ended up telling me that only shedding off 2 issues from the 12-issue series in which that it was supposed to be only end up speeding up some of the process, and he, in his own opinion, didn't really lose any of the feel or rush any of the product that he was trying to get. It just made it a little less colorful than initially anticipated. And I kind of get what he means, because especially after issue number 6, yeesh. So again, circling back, Uncanny Valley issue number 7 of 10 coming out to you and me on 12/26/2024. Yeah, it still blows my mind. We're only 1 week away. All right, let's move out from Boom Studios and let's talk about the last publisher of the evening and recognize that those crews down in. Jag, I appreciate you being here. Merry Christmas. I hope all is well. And to anyone I may have missed, thank you so much. I appreciate you not only being here at the moment, but being here all year. I look forward to seeing you next year. And hey, get into Marvel. Marvel Studios is first going to bring us Blade, Red Band, issue number 3. You got to admit, the whole Red Band thing with the blood hunt, that was pretty damn cool. Out of many of the Marvel Saga things that come out, some turn out to be rather cheesy, and the offshoots turn out to be rather bad more times than not. This one, in my opinion, turned out to be not only so good, but look at all the Red Band stuff that we're getting. It turned out to be more than just a gimmick. It turned out to be something, in my opinion, most people were really clamoring for. We want a little bit of blood. We want a bit of gore. We want something to support some of the hardcore gravity stories that we're getting. And if it does require just a little bit of, above 17, 18-year-old people to be able to see it, or you have to put it behind a bag, go ahead and hide some of the content. I'm more than willing to have that. I'm paying for it. I'm just saying, look. So not only Brian Hill been doing a wonderful job on the series thus far, but he also directly ties in some of the ramifications that transpired after what we got from the Blood Hunt series. This has been awesome. I think one of the only things that hurts most people is having to rip that thing open, which is actually great marketing because they end up selling to most of us that just have a collecting problem. Damn it. Those mothers. So all I'm saying is I've been looking forward to not only getting my hands onto that book. It's not open yet, but I'm looking forward to go ahead and jumping into the series as a whole. Why? Well, I've only got to read issue number 1. Since I'm 2 issues back, I figured I'm just going to wait until issue number 3. I'm behind. But I'm looking forward to it because I dig Brian Hill stuff. Issue number 1 was a great start, just saying. So, hey, if you liked it, it's a Blood Hunt series. You already like Brian Hill stuff. You've been digging what they've been doing with Blade so far. Just saying, you can't go wrong. Pick it up. Issue number 3 coming out to you and me, 12/26/2024. Moving out from Blade, let's talk about Hell Hunters, issue number 1 of 5. That also was something I've been looking forward to. Not only am I the whole Spirit Riders, Spirits of Violence that's going to be coming out in 2025, the new Ghost Rider stuff, But I'm just a fan of all the Ghost Rider stuff. So much like Spider-Man, I'm just kind of buying it all now. This looks awesome. I'm just saying, this was the Stormbreaker one. I don't normally usually get the Stormbreaker ones, but look, there's a lot going on. You can lose yourself in that. I'm just saying. Whoa, seriously, how you doing, brother? Appreciate you being here. Wow, I got people's. Merry Christmas. I hope all is well with everyone, and appreciate you being here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to not only getting into that Hell Hunters, but it is a 1 of 5. I'm looking forward to getting into the series, and it does tie in after this ends up finishing out into the Spirit of Violence, I think it's called. That's coming out after the Spirit of Vengeance ends. And these are all tapering and on and off of one and the other and piggybacking. You know what I mean? It's kind of seamless. Hope you're not following these hands at all. So again, Hell Hunters issue number 5 coming out, 1 of 5 coming out to you and me on 12/26/2024. Let's cruise over and talk about Time Slide. This is a setup of stories that is coming out for 2025. Don't worry if you kind of get lost in some of the things. It almost looks like they're just pulling out excerpts of certain things. Now, how this ends up working out, I think what we're going to end up having to do is actually get into a couple of those stories next year and go, oh, that's how it ties in. Though it does, I did kind of flip through, just I didn't read. Seemed like it does start off a couple of things that was so vaguely starting that it only just eludes the things that are coming out. It did say to see in da-da-da-da-da, but I like I said, I really wasn't paying attention, so I have to wait. Appreciate you being here. We got white gloves in the building. Appreciate you being here, brother, and happy and Merry New Year's to you and yours. All right, hey, moving on from the Time Slide, which that's going to kind of be in the back burner. I'm looking forward to getting into it, but definitely I'm looking forward to getting into some of these real reads. Let's talk about one that was just so far really, really fun. This was probably one of the funner reads I have other than Sweetie Candy Vigilante, which is Ultraman and the Avengers issue number 3. The cool thing is it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's been directly tying into the Marvel Universe a lot more than I really thought. And it's alluding to things that are going to end up coming out. I think it's in the 3rd week of February that we're going to get a couple stories that tie into the new Herald that we kind of saw from issue 2. I'm really dying to get into issue 3. I really am. How all that stuff was going and how it's supposed to set up, have I mentioned I'm dying to get into this book? So again, if you're an Ultraman fan anyways, which I definitely am, I'm not a massive Adventure fan, though I don't dislike them. But when you go ahead and tie these things together, it's a win-win. It's just a win-win. So Ultraman and the Avengers issue number 3 coming out tomorrow. I bet you think that you know what this blue light special is going to be this week, huh? I bet you think you know, but you don't. Because actually, Spider-Boy issue number 14 coming out to you and me 12/26/2024 is not my blue light special. I know, don't act all shocked. It almost was. I mean, it's not to say that I didn't get it. This is a book that I've really been anticipating. Look at this cover. Oh, cute. Seriously? I mean, come on. Say it with me. Cute. The story has been its whole run for the past year and a half since its introduction of this character. It's been tying in with other characters. It's been tying in the Marvel Universe and solidified itself to the point that wait till you see what happened next year. I mean, I personally have already seen things up to on an email up to issue number 17 and was confirmed on issue 19 to be already viewed as far as one of the covers were concerned. I've already seen 2 characters that are going to be coming out in issue 17 and given story plot and line all the way up to issue. Well, I promise I wouldn't say. This character is not going anywhere. Not only that, but my understanding is it's looked at and possibly in development right now is an animation going to be alongside the Disney Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Friends style coming out on the Disney thing. this is a character. I really have been digging this, and this is not only an all ages thing that I highly recommend for anybody, but this has just been my most enjoyable read. I would say on a consistent level, definitely for all ages, outside of Kanto, since Kanto. So yeah, I really dig Spider Boy. You should have 14, and I'm dying to get into this book, but really that is not my most anticipated read. It really isn't. My blue light special this week is actually Kidpool and Spider Boy. I know. It's got a derivative, right? But hey, look, this is the first introduction to Kidpool from the movie version that we get. And come on, look at it. Not just look. Isn't that not cute? Seriously. I really wasn't looking at the storyline at all. I initially did not pre-order it. It wasn't until I started looking at it in the past 2 weeks after, FOC went away that I started calling shops. I go, look, just go ahead and start pulling stuff out for me. I really enjoying how this is setting up. Joyce is writing it. I just, after talking to him and learning, I was like, you know what? I'm dying to get my hands on this thing. And not only did I do, that whole book, that box right there is filled to the top with books that I've still yet to read and log in, along with, 2 of those store folios right there. I normally don't read anything prior to which that I log it in. I think I'm jumping right into that Kidpool thing. I am so dying to get into this thing. It sure is, buddy. Chris, I appreciate you being here. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and same to you, Perry. Fingers. Appreciate you. Give me the hand job, Pear. And everyone that's been here, look, seriously and sincerely, I appreciate you being here for moments, for every week, for throughout the year, for everything. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And to you and yours, have a happy and healthy new year. That's it for me. Entropy. You stay well.